This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Rios Caramel Cookie Ice Cream. I think this is one of these lower calorie count ice creams. Usually only those put the calorie count on the packaging on the outside. The packaging looks alright. Apart from that though, this is one of these house brands, brands from a supermarket chain here in Germany, from the Penny Markt, and I think it is made in Belgium. 500 milliliters of volume, and we've got 370 grams of ice cream mass in here. Let's take a quick look at the ingredients list. I'll pause it here and I'll pause it here so that you can maybe make some sense of that. Pause if you want to read the nutrition table as well. So we've got vanilla ice cream with caramel sauce, with salted butter and pastry pieces. Alright, very simple, just a little foil on the very top. Alright, let's get a cutting board right here and a blade right here as well. Let's see where we are going to cut this. I think we're going to do that right here. That seems to be a good place to slice this open. The knife goes through this rather easily. It's not very heavy, no, it doesn't feel like it at all. Feels very soft. And now that we take off the halves, yeah, it looks alright. What is inside of here? I think those are the cookie pieces. Those are, looking to be distributed somewhat evenly. And I'm going to take the left one, and then the right half is going back into the freezer. I'll be back in a second. Alright, I am back at the desk. Let's turn this around like this. And let's take off the foil on the very top, or try to do that somewhat properly. Is not really going to happen. And let's take a closer look at this. So it looks alright. We've got that vanilla ice cream right here. Nice and soft, yeah. Creamy enough, certainly. Let's take a bit of that. It's a bit difficult even to get just the vanilla ice cream, because it's, like I said, very evenly just distributed, this entire thing. There you go. Very difficult to get that. Okay, looks alright though. Let's taste our first spoonful of ice cream. It tastes alright, rather, I wouldn't say natural, but as close as it gets to that. So far, not really an aftertaste to it. Everything alright at this point in time. Let's take a spoonful with a bit of that caramel sauce on there as well. There were more cookie pieces in there than I initially assumed. Tastes decent though as a whole, when I just take some spoonfuls out of this. It does taste very creamy, even buttery, and slightly salty. If it wasn't written on the packaging itself, I would have thought that they put some salted caramel in here, but yeah, and now that they actually written it on here, it really tastes like a bit of, slightly salted butter. It tastes different than I would say regular ice cream, just a very little bit, and it does remind me of a, of a decent croissant on a Sunday morning. Yeah, so it's interesting, not bad, but very nice. Something that does surprise me when I scrape through this and eat a few spoonfuls of it, is that the lightness, the airiness of it isn't really something I dislike about it. Usually when you've got these low-calorie ice creams, there's a lot of air in there and a lot less flavor usually. But this right here doesn't feel like it is just a lighter version of a decent product. It feels like it's made to be that way, with the butter itself in there, with that butter taste, I should say, that makes it rather different from anything else I ever had when it comes to ice cream. It really doesn't distract from anything. It adds a nice flavor to the entire picture, and it doesn't really, there doesn't need to be more ice cream in here. The air that's in here seems to be almost the perfect amount, and that is something that I did not expect to say when I see that calorie count on the very top there. Usually that's an indicator of the thing you are buying not really being as tasty as it could be. Something that is a bit of a not disappointment, a bit of a disadvantage though, is that reviewing this under a light is kind of difficult because it's it's running away rather quickly. I tried to take a spoonful with a bit more of that caramel sauce, but I've got to say, up until this point, it's just been the right amount of caramel sauce that has been in here. It's not, I don't feel anything too artificial as an aftertaste. It's overall just, fitting. It's interesting. Something that is also different from regular like cookies and ice cream is the actual type of cookie they put in here. Those cookie pieces in here do really taste much more like these shortbread cookies, those British ones. I don't know, maybe they're Welsh, maybe they're English, I don't know. They're always sold as like in a British week at Aldi or Penny or whatever, but it really tastes like that. Maybe it's just the butter in this that makes me think like that. Maybe it's the salt in that butter that makes me think like that, but it really reminds me of it. Really, it feels like this is just light caramel ice cream. Rather airy, but overall pretty decent with those shortbread cookies in there. So far, I'm really enjoying this. Alright, the consumption process is now complete. I turned off the camera out there because I wanted to focus on mitigating that drippage problem that occurred with this particular ice cream. So I finished it off, the entire half, and we're now going to jump into the rating section of this particular video. First impression, I guess I'll just give 1 point. I don't have anything to complain about. It did look alright. I now notice that I forgot to peel off the very top of the thing. I do not know if I even do that, but the Ben & Jerry's ones, they usually do not have that, so I kind of forgot to do that today. Color-wise, again, I mean, if I could give a bonus point here, I probably would, because the entire thing looked extremely good. It looked like really decent toffee ice cream almost, with that slight tint of that caramel sauce. There's few bits and pieces of these I would call them shortbread cookies. They really taste like them and they feel like them as well. The consistency overall, it looked just really good, I have to say. Consistency and texture wise, I do not have anything to complain about either. Overall, it was nice and creamy. The sauce was runny. It wasn't like that just alibi sauce, which seems to be just colored ice cream and nothing else. And the cookies themselves were decent as well. They really reminded me not only in the taste of those shortbread cookies that I mentioned earlier, but also in the texture of them. They weren't really crunchy, but they weren't really too squishy like brownies. There's somewhere in the middle right there, almost like a bit of maybe stale cookies. That would be stale cookies over here, but those shortbread cookies, they're made like that, and they're supposed to be like that. And these right here really reminded me of that, and they were very decent in giving a different sort of texture to the entire ice cream pint, and I did enjoy that. Overall, I'm happy to give 2 points in this regard. Really decent overall. Taste-wise, this is pretty interesting as well. I did not expect it. Usually when you have some sort of butter in somewhere and it says so on the packaging itself, you seldomly taste it. It's nice to see it on there. You've got a feeling that you've got a decent product, I guess, when they put a more expensive fat into the product you're buying. But overall, you rarely ever taste it. On this right here, I did taste it, and it's something that I really did not expect, because when you think of ice cream, you do not really think of butter, and you think even less of mildly salted butter, but this was in here, and it went incredibly well with it. It matched the ice cream well, it matched the caramel sauce well, and it matched I really have to say, it matched these cookies incredibly well, much more than I expected. And overall, therefore, I have to say that I do not really know what I can complain about with the taste. Yes, it could use a bit more heftiness, maybe. That air in there, it didn't taste any like sour stuff. Sometimes when you've got a lot of air in products like ice cream, it's often CO2 that they inject, and you sometimes feel a bit of sourness to it. Depends on the product, depends on the brand. Sometimes it's just air or nitrogen or whatever it is, but with some of these ice creams, it tastes a bit like when you've got sparkling water and you burp after it, you've got that kind of soury taste in your mouth. Sometimes it feels like that. This right here, nothing like that at all. I just wish it was a bit more heavy when it comes to the flavor. So I cannot quite give full points. I really do not want to give full points in that regard because it's not 100% there, I don't think. But for what it is, a house brand ice cream from a supermarket that, I don't know, calorie count, I don't really care about that. But you've got that vanilla ice cream with a bit of butter in there, that caramel sauce in there, and those cookie pieces. All in all, it's quite tasty. I'm quite surprised by it, and I think I'm actually going to buy this again because overall, this thing gets a 9.5 out of 10, and it for good reason. It tastes good. It tastes really good, much better than I expected. Especially when I saw this 130 kilocalorie thing on here. It's just I always get like bad feelings about that because of those somewhat bad Euphoria ice creams that I had before, and some other like lighter ice creams. Usually they're just, the word starts with T and ends with rash. This one right here was a welcome surprise, and was much better than the tea and the rash. And yeah, I can even say that I am looking forward to the other half of this, the Rios caramel cookie ice cream. 9.5 out of 10, yeah. And on this, I think it is time to end this particular video. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.